In the stuffy silence of the Almeida Mansion library, Bianca found a book that should never have been opened. The words written in the margins of its yellowed pages were more than mere notes, they were secrets that someone from the powerful Almeida family had tried to hide for generations. As she turned each page, Bianca felt the weight of eyes watching her, shadows moving just beyond the candlelight, as the truth about her own origins began to unfold in ways she could never have imagined. Bianca spent her last moments at the orphanage reviewing the songs that marked her youth. She cradled each memory fondly, recalling the laughs and tears shared with friends who became her makeshift family. The director of the orphanage, Dona Marta, had been a motherly figure, and it was she who found an opportunity for Bianca that would change her life. In the silence of her departure, Bianca looked back, seeing the walls that echoed stories of so many children, knowing that she was leaving behind a life of uncertainty to embrace the unknown. The journey to the Almeida mansion was marked by a mix of anxiety and hope. As she approached the grand estate, Bianca marveled at the imposing gates and the meticulously manicured garden that preceded the grand house. Greeted by Carlos, the family butler, she was immediately briefed on the expectations and responsibilities of her new role. Each step inside the mansion expanded his perception of the world of opulence and rigor that he was now part of. As he followed Carlos through the corridors, the weight of the new reality began to settle on his shoulders, mixing excitement with slight fear. His first day was an avalanche of information and new routines. Bianca learned about the Almeida family's precise cleanliness and organization expectations. She was introduced to the vast rooms, libraries, and ballrooms, each with their own details and stories. Carlos, with his critical eye, supervised her every movement, promptly correcting her when necessary. Despite her initial difficulties and her homesickness at the orphanage, Bianca felt driven by a burning desire to prove her worth. She ended the day exhausted, but pleased to have faced the challenge head-on. Bianca woke up before dawn, her days now marked by the meticulous rhythm of the mansion. Each morning began with an inspection by Carlos, who did not forgive a speck of dust out of place. Learning quickly, Bianca adopted techniques that helped her meet the Almeida family's almost impossible demands. She began to understand the nuances of high-end housework, from the perfect way to polish silverware to the specific method of arranging flowers in the Great Hall. Each day brought small victories and with them, a growing sense of confidence. Among the mansion's staff, Bianca found an unexpected ally in Maria, the gardener, whose passion for orchids and stories about the mansion's past intrigues served as a welcome relief. Maria showed Bianca the secrets of the vast gardens, sharing not only gardening techniques, but also confidences about the history of the Almeida family. During long afternoons under the shade of the leafy trees, Bianca began to feel less like an outsider and more like part of a complex tapestry of lives intertwined by the history of that house. One rainy afternoon, as Bianca was cleaning the library, she found an old book displaced behind others on the shelf. When he opened it, he discovered handwritten marginal notes that mentioned the name Almeida, along with dates and details that seemed to indicate hidden transactions and family decisions from decades ago. Intrigued, Bianca pondered the importance of those scribbles. He then decided to keep the secret of the notes to himself, planning to investigate further as opportunities arose, without knowing that this book would be the key to unlocking much deeper secrets of the Almeida family. Driven by the curiosity aroused by the book she found, Bianca started using her free time to explore the library further. Each ancient document or book she touched seemed to whisper forgotten stories, guiding her deeper into the labyrinth of Almeida family stories. One afternoon, she discovered a series of letters exchanged between an Almeida and an unknown name, discussing something mysteriously called the agreement. Bianca felt the weight of the discovery, realizing that these letters could reveal a lot about the family's motivations and ancient secrets. During one of her secret investigations, Bianca was surprised by Carlos' abrupt entry into the library. The butler's quick and suspicious look at the scattered papers made Bianca freeze. With a softer tone than usual, Carlos warned her about the dangers of touching things that didn't concern her. He hinted that he knew more about the family's secrets than he let on. Bianca, however, was not intimidated. The warning only increased his determination to discover the truth, even if it meant risking his position in the mansion. After the confrontation with Carlos, Bianca met with Maria in the garden, sharing her discoveries and concerns. Maria, already aware of Carlos' reserved nature, encouraged Bianca to continue her search for the truth, promising to help in any way possible. Together, they planned how to access more information without raising suspicion. Maria suggested that Bianca use her daily chores as an excuse to explore other areas of the mansion that would normally be out of her reach. Strengthened by a friendship that quickly became a partnership, both felt ready to face whatever lay ahead. Inspired by her conversation with Maria, Bianca began exploring the mansion during her nightly rounds. One night, while walking down a little-used hallway, he discovered an inconspicuous door that led to a small, dust-covered office. Inside, he found an old safe, full of old documents and photographs. Among them, Bianca found a diary belonging to João Almeida's grandfather, where he described in detail certain family decisions that seemed to be linked to the mysterious agreement. The notes revealed a network of influences and powers that transcended the family itself, involving prominent figures in the city. Determined to better understand the implications of what she had discovered, Bianca risked a meeting with Helena Almeida. Under the guise of discussing floral arrangements for an event, Bianca subtly mentioned the agreement. Helena's immediate reaction was one of surprise and caution. After a few moments of hesitation, Helena decided to trust Bianca, revealing that the agreement was an ancient pact that guaranteed the Almeida family's prosperity in exchange for obscure favors. She expressed her discomfort with past choices and her desire to move her family away from these long-standing obligations. Encouraged by Helena's confidence, Bianca felt empowered to continue her search for the truth. However, his investigation did not go unnoticed. Carlos, increasingly suspicious of Bianca's nocturnal activities, began to follow her movements more closely. One tense night, he confronted Bianca directly, demanding to know what she was looking for and who she was talking to. Bianca, remaining calm, diverted Carlos' suspicions, but knew she needed to be more cautious. The complexity of their discoveries and the need for discretion became even clearer, as did the risks involved in challenging the power structures within the mansion. After the confrontation with Carlos, Bianca realized that she would need a more cautious strategy to continue her investigations without attracting unwanted attention. With Maria's help, he began to discreetly document everything he found, using an old smartphone hidden in a fake book in the library to take photos of the most important documents. This approach allowed her to compile information without physically removing any paper from the mansion, reducing the risk of being discovered by Carlos or other family members who might be vigilant. As Bianca worked to uncover the Almeida family's past, a new ally emerged from where she least expected it. Roberto, one of the family's drivers, approached her with information that could be crucial. He had overheard conversations between Carlos and a mysterious visitor that mentioned the agreement and concern over Bianca's growing curiosity. Roberto, whose own past was intertwined with the family's secrets, offered to help Bianca, sharing observations and facilitating her movements around the property without arousing suspicion. With the additional information provided by Roberto, Bianca decided it was time to take a bigger step. She organized a secret meeting with a trusted local journalist, hoping to expose the stories without directly putting the Almeida family in the public spotlight. The meeting took place in a discreet café far from the city, where Bianca shared some of the evidence she had collected, explaining the historical importance and possible future impacts. The journalist, intrigued and aware of the explosive potential of the story, agreed to begin a preliminary investigation, promising to keep Bianca out of any reports until more information was verified. The journalist's investigation began to bear fruit more quickly than Bianca expected. Preliminary information indicated that the agreement was linked to a network of influence and corruption that extended far beyond the city, involving high-ranking politicians and businesspeople. As Bianca read the initial reports, she felt the weight of responsibility growing. Every detail revealed added layers of complexity to what she thought was just a family secret. Worried about the possible consequences for the Almeida family and for herself, Bianca began to question how far she should go with the revelations. The investigations did not go unnoticed. One night, upon returning to the mansion, Bianca found her room ransacked. Nothing of value had been taken, but the message was clear: someone knew of her actions and wanted to intimidate her. Despite her fear, this act of intimidation only strengthened Bianca's resolve. She secretly met with Helena and João, revealing what she had discovered so far and the threats she had received. Helena, concerned for Bianca's safety, insisted that she should stop, but João, visibly disturbed by the implications of the investigations, agreed to offer Bianca more protection and support. Determined to move forward, Bianca organized a meeting with all the mansion's employees, seeking to strengthen ties and ensure their loyalty and mutual support. She shared her vision and concerns, without revealing sensitive details, but emphasizing the importance of honesty and transparency for the good of all. The meeting resulted in renewed solidarity among the team, with many expressing their support and some sharing their own suspicions and observations about wrongdoing in and around the mansion. Armed with a new sense of community and protection, Bianca prepared to face the next steps, aware of the risks, but also of the crucial importance of her mission. Bianca and the journalist decided to meet again to discuss the progress of the investigation. However, this meeting was marked by palpable tension. An unknown car followed Bianca to the agreed location, a clear indication that her movements were being monitored. At the cafe, as they discussed the leaked documents implicating several local authorities, they realized they were being watched. Despite her fear, Bianca felt a growing determination. She knew that backing down now could mean missing a chance for meaningful change. After the meeting, the pressure on Bianca increased exponentially. Carlos, always an astute observer, began to question her more directly about her activities. In a tense conversation in the library, Carlos warned Bianca about the possible consequences of her actions, both for her and for the Almeida family. He mentioned, in a veiled way, that certain truths are best left alone. Bianca, however, armed with João's tacit support, stood firm, responding that true loyalty to the family meant ensuring its long-term integrity. In the midst of growing challenges, Bianca found new allies. One night, she was approached by other members of the community who had also been affected by the secrets she sought to expose. They formed a small but determined support group, sharing information and resources to protect Bianca and ensure the truth came out. This group included some influential figures in the city who, tired of the corrupt status quo, decided it was time to act. Together, they planned the next step of the exhibition, preparing for a confrontation they knew would be difficult, but necessary for the greater good. With the help of her new allies, Bianca devised a careful plan to expose the corruption network's darkest secrets. They decided to call a press conference to present the evidence collected, ensuring the presence of reliable media representatives with national impact. As the preparations progressed, Bianca felt the magnitude of what they were about to do. Every step was meticulously planned, from personal security to information control, to avoid last-minute interference from his opponents. The day of the press conference dawned tense and full of expectations. The event was held in a safe and discreet location, chosen to minimize the risk of sabotage. With cameras trained and live microphones, Bianca took the lead, exposing the web of corruption they had uncovered, detailing how it not only influenced local politics, but also affected innocent lives. By his side, João and Helena showed their unconditional support, reaffirming their commitment to truth and justice, despite the possible repercussions for the Almeida family. Bianca's revelations shook the community. While some applauded the courage to stand up to the system, others reacted with disbelief and shock. In the following days, authorities began investigations based on the information she had disclosed. At the same time, Bianca and her team faced retaliation, from threats to attempts to discredit their credibility. But, with the continued support of João, Helena, and their growing circle of allies, Bianca remained resilient, determined to see justice done, whatever the cost. After the press conference, local and national society began to absorb the magnitude of the revelations made by Bianca. Authorities were pressured to act, and several investigations were launched to unearth more of the deep-rooted corruption. Bianca suddenly found herself at the center of a campaign for reform and transparency. Her role as a whistleblower turned her into a public figure, a voice for those who could not speak. She began receiving invitations to speak at events, participate in discussion panels and collaborate on legislative reforms. With new fame came new challenges. Bianca had to quickly learn how to navigate the complexity of her position as a public activist while managing her personal life, which remained under constant scrutiny. João and Helena's support was crucial during this period, providing not only physical security but also emotional support. They made sure Bianca didn't face the mounting pressures alone. Furthermore, Bianca's relationship with the other employees of the mansion changed. She was now seen as both a leader and an ally, someone who fought and prevailed against the odds. With the continued support of the Almeida family and their network of allies, Bianca began to more actively plan her future and the impact she wanted to continue to have on society. She initiated the creation of a foundation dedicated to fighting corruption and supporting victims of abuses of power, using her story as a catalyst for change. Bianca also began working with law and policy experts to draft legislation that would strengthen transparency and accountability laws for public officials and businesses. Bianca, recognizing the need for a collaborative approach to tackling systemic corruption, began expanding her network. She organized and participated in national and international conferences, where she met other activists, legal experts, and politicians committed to reform. Together, they shared strategies, resources and mutual support, strengthening the impact of their initiatives. Bianca also sought partnerships with non-governmental organizations that had long experience in monitoring and reporting corruption. The foundation she created began to be seen as a model of integrity and innovation in the fight against corruption. As Bianca expanded her influence, she also faced significant challenges, especially in the legislative field. Every bill she helped develop faced opposition from powerful entrenched interests who did not want to see the status quo changed. Bianca quickly learned the nuances of politics, using both her growing public popularity and her negotiating skills to win support. In one notable case, she managed to get an important transparency law passed, despite strong initial resistance, through a public campaign that mobilized citizen opinion to pressure their representatives. The passage of the law was a significant victory for Bianca and a testament to the power of persistence and collaboration. Celebrated on magazine covers and on news channels, she has become a symbol of hope and an example of how determination and united efforts can overcome inertia and corruption. At a celebratory event, Bianca reflected on her journey, from discoveries at the mansion to the halls of legislative power. She felt a deep gratitude for all those who supported her and a renewed determination to continue her work, knowing that each victory brought new challenges. As her visibility increased, Bianca also began to feel the weight of public life. She struggled to balance her role as an activist with her personal life, which seemed increasingly consumed by her responsibilities. The pressure to maintain an unshakable public image was intense, and Bianca found it difficult to keep her own vulnerabilities out of the public eye. On a particularly difficult night, after receiving anonymous threats, Bianca had a sincere conversation with Helena, who advised her on the importance of taking care of herself, reminding her that her health and well-being were essential to the sustainability of her mission. Recognizing the need to delegate and create a more robust leadership team, Bianca began to focus on strengthening the structure of her foundation. She hired experts in a range of areas, from communications and law to finance and campaign management, to ensure the organization could operate efficiently, even when she was not directly involved. This process included extensive training and strategic planning sessions, where Bianca shared her vision and values, ensuring that her mission remained clear and unchanged, regardless of external challenges. As her team grew stronger, Bianca began to find a new balance in her life. She learned to trust her team more and to take moments for herself, something Helena had emphasized as crucial. Bianca also reconnected with hobbies and interests she had neglected, finding them a source of renewal and pleasure. This new balance allowed her to return to her work with a new perspective and energy, ready to face future challenges with a solid foundation both personally and professionally. With the foundation stabilized and her personal life in balance, Bianca had a moment to reflect on her journey so far. She met with Helena and João for a quiet dinner at the Almeida mansion, where they talked about the humble origins of their investigations, the challenges faced and the victories achieved. It was a night of gratitude and mutual recognition, where João and Helena expressed their pride in the significant changes that Bianca had brought not only to their lives, but to the community at large. Bianca felt deep satisfaction in having remained true to her principles, even when circumstances were challenging. Inspired by her own journey, Bianca decided to expand the scope of her foundation. She planned initiatives to include educational programs that focused on teaching young people about ethics, transparency, and the importance of civic participation. Bianca launched a series of workshops and seminars, some of which were hosted in the Almeida mansion itself, transforming it into a center for learning and advocacy. She also began collaborating with schools and universities to integrate these discussions into formal curricula, ensuring that the next generation was better equipped to deal with and challenge issues of corruption and injustice. As the event at the mansion unfolded, Bianca found herself looking to the future with hope and determination. The journey that began with solitary discoveries in the library was now expanding into a robust movement, with the potential to positively influence society on a large scale. With the continued support of her friends, family, and a growing community of activists and advocates, Bianca felt ready to face the new challenges ahead. She knew the fight against corruption was ongoing, but now she was armed with resources, allies, and a support network that made her stronger than she had ever been.